Guys, this is the new Beretta 20X Bobcat. Let's get into the video. A couple of years ago, I did a video on the Beretta 21A. And since then, here recently, Beretta has come out with their 20X Bobcat. Now, there have been a lot of changes from this firearm to this firearm over the period of this 40-year-old design. Yes, this design has been going for Beretta for about 40 years. There's probably about 4 or 5 things that they did change. One important thing is the magazine capacity. With your old traditional 21A, you had 7 rounds. With the newer ones, you have 8 rounds. And I get it. 8 rounds is not a lot, but this firearm topped off will hold 9 rounds. One of the things that they did is right here on the side, there is a push button. And what that push button will allow you to do is tip the barrel out. That is called their ELS design, their effortless loading system. And on your old 21A, you had a lever. So it's the same concept. With this one, you would press it forward and this would pop out. It's just much easier to push a button than to find the lever and press it forward. Another good thing that they did, the magazine release is right here on the side. And on the 21A, the magazine release is right here in the handle. So they put it right here on the side like John Moses Browning intended magazine releases to be. They did redesign the magazine. It is a polymer magazine now, okay? And you do have this pinky, I guess this extender to help wrap your pinky around. On the old 21A, if you hold it up here, okay, if I grip this pistol normally, okay, that is my pinky. It's on the bottom of the firearm. With this firearm loaded, I'm just gonna put the magazine in. I'm not gonna top it off or anything. So if I hold it right there, my pinky is on top of the magazine. So this will allow for better control. What I really like what they did is on the 21A, they had these fixed sights, okay? It was just cut out sights with a front bladed front sight, and you could not get a good point of aim of where to hold when you were using a suppressor. Okay, it's nearly impossible to do precision shooting with something like this with the suppressor on. With the new 20X Bobcat, you do have the raised front and rear sight for suppressor. And the good thing about this is they're actually dovetail sights. So if you don't want these high raised sights, you can actually get traditional lower mounted sights for this firearm if you want it. On top of here, I have a Banish 22K suppressor. This is their little bitty suppressor. Regular Banish 22 suppressor is about, a third longer. And this suppressor, it just makes things hearing safe, okay? It doesn't hurt your ears when you shoot it. It is louder. This is much, much quieter. But if I'm carrying something like this in, my kayak or whatever have you, my bug out gun, I'm gonna want a little short suppressor on there because that kind of defeats the purpose if you put a 6-inch suppressor on the end of it. All right, here we go. Let's shoot it some. All right, so the good thing about this firearm is if you want a small, subcompact little 22 in your pocket to carry, this would be the choice. Like I said, 9 rounds, because what you can do is if you load this firearm, okay, on the last shot, just like so, and you load this firearm, like so, you got your magazine in, of course there's not one in the barrel. With the ELS, just like this right here, you can load her up, you're topped off, and all you have to do now is pull the trigger. So, if you have weak hands, if you had arthritis, this will eliminate you having to rack the slide every single time. You just have to tip the barrel up. If you tip it up and you have not racked the slide yet, you can still shoot this firearm in double action. So this firearm can be shot in double action or in single action. Let me see what else. Your safety is right here on the side, and they did redesign the trigger compared to the 21A. The trigger is called their Trident trigger, and I really, really like it. It's kind of a skeleton trigger, flat-faced, and it's actually 35% lighter than the traditional trigger in the 21A. This gun shoots very, very smooth. I really like it. It's a good shooter. And at this point, I have put about 1,200 rounds through this firearm and probably only 8 to 10 malfunctions. when you're talking about a rimfire pistol, especially a small one, only 8 to 10 malfunctions out of 1,200 rounds, that's pretty good. The names of these particular pistols in the 20X are quite hilarious. This is called the bug out bag. Now it is two-toned with raised sights, and it is threaded 1/2x28. The other names are quite funny also. One is called In Case of Emergency. The other one is called Do It Yourself. And my favorite is You're on Your Own. All right, I got some magazines loaded up. I'm just shooting some CCI standard velocity. Let's try out the accuracy of this little bitty firearm. Usually a smaller firearm with a really short sight radius is a little difficult to shoot at longer ranges, but I'm gonna try it a few times here. All right, let's go out at 100 yards on the big silhouette. Let's start big. All right, I hit it a few times. Got to find my hold. All right, let's go out here to the 75-yard 6-inch plate. There we go. So 6-inch plate at 75 yards. All right, I think I've got like 4 rounds left. Let's try the 4-inch plate at 100. I hit it third shot, 4-inch plate at 100 yards. All right, so what else can we say about it? Now the frame has been totally redesigned. If you've ever owned one of the 21As, you know it can be extremely finicky with ammo. This firearm is not as finicky with ammo. I've shot mini mags, I've shot standard velocity. I have not tried any of like the subsonics, the stuff that travel at like 890, 900 feet per second. I haven't tried any out of that yet. But the standard velocity that's firing around 1080, it works fine. So now I'm gonna load up 2 magazines, one with Federal Punch and the other one with CCI Uppercut, because a lot of you guys who get this firearm will wanna use it for self-defense, and that is really good self-defense ammo. So let me load those magazines up and let's do some more shooting. All right, they redesigned these magazines and they have these small tabs on each side, which come in really handy. You can pull the magazine down. These magazines load way easier than the 21A in my opinion. So these are some CCI Uppercuts. All right, I got 8 rounds there. Now let me load some Federal Punches, and these are really, really good self-defense loads if you want to carry a 22 for self-defense. And we've had this discussion on my channel now for probably about 12 years. 22 would not be my first choice for self-defense. I carry a 9mm. But if you have problems manipulating a weapon because of arthritis or bad hands or anything like that, and you want something where you don't have to rack the slide, you can just push the button, drop the round in, and then pull the trigger. And with that new Trident trigger, it's 35% lighter than the original 21A. It's a pretty good option. And 22 long rifle is better than a sharp stick. So, all right, let's try it out here. So these are Federal Punches. Let's make sure that these cycle. Good grief. It hits those targets much, much harder than the standard velocity. So those were Federal Punches. Now these right here are going to be the CCI Uppercuts. This is a bonded 22 long rifle bullet that is made to expand. The punch ammunition is meant to penetrate without expansion. Center mass, 40 feet. I wouldn't want to be sitting there. So, all right, so what did we learn today? We learned that if you're in the market for a little subcompact 22, the Beretta 20X would be a really good choice. And if you know anything about Beretta, they've been around for a very, very long time. I think they're actually the longest or the oldest gun manufacturing company in the world. And they make quality products. This product right here is made in Gallatin, Tennessee. This is my home state. I've actually been to their factory before, and it's pretty cool that this firearm is actually being made in my home state. All right, let me see if there's anything that I missed. Talked about the new trigger, the frame, the raised sights for a suppressor, the extended magazine, and the magazine release. I think that's about all I can say for it. The gun shoots very good. Now you have to learn how to shoot a a smaller sight radius to be accurate with it. That just takes a lot of time, a lot of practice. I've been shooting guns for about 40 years, so, but it is a good shooter. Guys, if you have any questions whatsoever on the Beretta 20X, put them in the comments below. Until next time, y'all be safe and keep plinking.